Hello everyone and welcome back to Breaklight Productions. My name is Curtis Lambert and today I'm reacting to 6 more currently trending music videos from this week, starting with Fix Your Face by MGK featuring Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit. So let's jump on into it. Nice. Cool little energetic zooms there. Obviously we've got a real like gritty, grainy black and white here, so that either they filmed this on an older camera or that could just be artificial grain that's been added in post. Hell yeah. It says such Limp Bizkit vibes. Even the way the video's done, very like 90s, early 2000s, yeah, like pop punk, new metal, etc. Like getting those crowd shots, like if you've seen the music videos for pretty much any of Limp Bizkit's stuff, or Got the Life by Korn, or yeah, just a lot of, you know, what are they called? Sum 41, Offspring, like a lot of crowd-based music videos in those days. System of a Down with Chop Suey, of course. Loving these little zooms and yeah, that's great. And that does feel like it's relatively in camera as well. Yeah, a lot of this is handheld. And a lot of cool fisheye. So this fisheye lens. And the way you can tell that is you can sort of see the curvature to the lens around the edges. Very subtle. But it's interesting. And okay, very quick note. This is an important thing when thinking about doing something in black and white, is the tones of everything. The buildings you're in, the locations, with this shot, you know, the color of his tattoos, the color of the clothing he's wearing, the color of the car he's standing on. Like, when you look at a crowd shot like this, they've clearly told people, like, hey, make sure to wear black or very dark toned clothing, because it automatically, like, it makes the scene make sense. Like, there's, you know, you could sort of see where people start and where people end. Otherwise, you know, if it was just a lot of like too much black clothing, or it was too much like white clothing, it would just be a sea of nonsense that you couldn't differentiate between. Plus it just makes it, like, especially with stuff like this, it makes it way more visually like appealing, that there's that contrast of like a lot of, because a lot of this is filmed during the day, it's a lot of like white skies and backgrounds, but you've got that vivid black clothing that immediately draws your eye. Oh, that's such a cool shot, that basketball. That's interesting. I don't know if that's actually a moving... No, it can't be a moving... Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know how they did that. it feels like the arm itself is actually going up, but that wouldn't work. And it also probably wouldn't be safe, like. Ooh, bit of animation. Bit of forced perspective back there, that was fun. Yeah, that is an interesting shot, that basketball one. Yeah, this is fun. It's energetic, the shakiness of the shots. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. That was a good front flip. Yeah, sick. That was awesome. Yeah, there's the team. Big team. That's awesome. Yeah, look. Okay, so they had 3 different camera operators. That's awesome. And that's not including the drone operator. They had 2 of those as well. Yeah, that's cool. Nah, and look, with a music video like this, where there's going to be a lot of cuts, there's going to be to keep that energy, and you're working with big crowds and stuff, it really does come down to time versus personnel. And this is always a complicated part of working out budget, is you've got to work out, like, okay, if let's say I'm filming this by myself, I have to try and get all these different angles with a crowd of people by myself. I'm probably gonna need 2 days to get that done. But if you've got 3 different camera people all going at once and a drone operator, suddenly every setup you're getting 4 different shots. And so, like, for example, we saw, right, they have a bit of B-roll here of, like, this chick sin into camera, right? While one guy's getting the crowd, the drone operator's getting a top down. Another camera operator could just be, hey, you, come sin to camera, and then boom, you've gotten 3 different setups done in like 1 take of the song. So yeah, it's something you've always got to weigh up when doing budgets and stuff like that, or when planning your own projects. Is a smaller crew is cheaper but takes longer, which sometimes doesn't make it cheaper if you're paying them per day. Bigger crews cost more up front, but it means you get the job done quicker. So it's always something to weigh up. But awesome music video. Alright, and moving on to DeathbyRomy Body Horror. Alright, well, and there we go. Okay, multiple things to talk about already. Obviously, we've got the 4x3. We can also see that there is an artificial grain over the top. We've got one big spotlight on us, which, in all honesty, looks like it's going to be coming from an angle, even though it looks like it's top down right onto these actors. It would actually be coming from an angle, and we can tell that because of where their shadows are. If it was right above them, those shadows would just be little circles at their feet. It wouldn't be shaped out like that. Another thing they've done is they've added sort of like a bloom effect, sort of a little glow effect to the highlights, which is fairly easy. You can do that in most editing softwares with their own like inbuilt glow or bloom features. So yeah, cool edits there. Fit every little. Even that, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and it was actually editing to that. Great attention to detail. Loving the energy of this. Lots of flashes of white. Cool. So there's like a... yeah, there's like an aberration effect on it as well, which is interesting. Loving this. The edits are great. Oh. And I gotta play that bit. That fitted the song so well. The glitch sounds and then the glitch like, and it just, the video is matching the music so well in terms of actual like editing time. This is great work. And I'm loving the flashes of white. It's very like dizzying, which I feel like the video wants you to feel, like the craziness of the character. Got a bit of haze in some of these dancing shots as well. So cool. Hang on. Alright, this is a perfect example. I know we've spoken about it a lot, but the importance of haze when using lights. So what you've got here is you've got haze filling up part of the room, which is why we can see, unlike in the previous shots, we can actually see the cone of light, not just the circle where it hits the ground, but the actual full-on cone here. And that's done by the haze. But you can see that the haze isn't quite hitting this furthest edge of where the cone would be here. And so you don't have that shape. You sort of lose it just as it goes over her head. It sort of cuts off there. And yeah, that's just a perfect example of when I'm talking about how haze shapes light. This is a perfect video to encapsulate that, because it shows it like very well detailed. Ooh, that's cool. Bit of VFX, nice. Yeah, some strobes. Or maybe not strobes, but definitely like flashing lights. So cool. Ah, that's awesome. That is very cool. Hell yeah. That was great. Holy shit, I might need to check out more by DeathbyRomy. But this final shot, and what I love about it is, even though you would think it's a regular like strobe light or flashing light that's just doing all of the work, you'll see that even when it turns off, we don't, like, the whole room doesn't go black. So what's happening here is they've got ambient lighting, which, you know, I would say it's obviously hard to tell without going like frame by frame, but I would say it's at least like a bit of a front light and some backlight as well that's separating her from that background. And then they've like, if that's a soft, relatively like low setting light, then you can, you know, crank a bunch of flashing lights to 100, and then you're still gonna get the strobe effect you get here, but rather than it being like bright white to black in complete darkness, you get this awesome middle ground where you can still see her, but it's giving that flickering effect. Really cool. Yeah, loved this. Alright, so next up we've got Frozen Soul Deathweaver. Love that logo already. Ooh, bit of haze. Loving the like threads. Oh, okay, hang on. Let's talk about that. Alright, so what's happening here? We've got a hard light on her left-hand side of the face, our right. So you've got a hard light there. But then over this far side, you've got, I would say, rather than it being another light source, it's most likely, because of how hard this light is on this left-hand side of her face, I would say that it's probably just bounce. Like, so they're getting a bounce board or a reflector, or flecky as we sometimes call them, and just bouncing some of that hard light back into her face. And we could tell, like, even if this wasn't as bright as it is, we can tell that it's the hard light because look at the shadow of her nose. It's way over competing against the ambient light, but then also it's acting as a nice eye light as well, which is showing us the sort of direction that it's coming from there. But yeah, super awesome. That's really beautiful. There you go. Ooh. Should say, never heard of this band before, but it's heavy so far. There's also a grain added to this. It's really subtle, but really nice. Using that in and out of focus. Some dirty shots, love it. Oh. Ooh, yeah. That's so cool. That makeup is great. And I'm loving the energy on these band shots. It's very handheld. It's moving with them. it keeps the energy, because a lot of the story shots are very like slow pan, slow tilt, slow ins and outs. So with such an energetic song, having the contrast of those slower sort of story moments intercut with this frantic camera work of the actual like performance shots works really well. Oh shit, she's turning. Oh, yeah. Bit of the old blood and gore. Love to see it. But you'll also notice now that it's more focused on this creature, even the story shots are now getting more handheld. They're more shaky with it. Because it's not trying to be beautiful anymore. It's like, look at her shots, how steady they are, and then the creatures are like moving around. Hell yeah. Oh, this is brutal. Oh, damn, that is such good makeup effects. That's so cool. That's awesome. Damn, that's metal as fuck, yo. Haha. That's awesome. I love that. Now, I want to quickly say I'm no makeup expert, right? But to do this, it's actually quite straightforward. So what you'd have here is a piece of silicone, which is basically, if you think of any of your like Halloween masks that you get from stores and stuff, it's a sort of like jelly-like substance, and you can basically, you get it, you set it to the shape you want. So in this case it would be a cut, and then basically what you would do is you'd fill it full of some fake blood, you'd have this string sit in it, you'd put it on the band member, match it to their skin, because you can see they've really matched it to her skin there, but you can just see the faint outline of that silicone. And then action shot, you just pull that string, and it's gonna, you know, if you've already prepped it good enough, it's just gonna go and like split open, and yeah, get a really gross shot like this, which, yeah, I love it. Very cool, very cool. And next up we have Janaabe Aali by Jerry. Now, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Sorry if I didn't, but let's check it out. Ooh, that's already cool. Okay, let's talk about it. We've already got so many things. So, we've got a backlight. Backlight, always great. It's silhouetting this person behind him, but it's also adding shape to him. If we didn't have a backlight, adding that shape, a lot of him, because he's wearing, you know, all black clothing, would get lost in the woods around him. So we've got that. Then we've got probably like a, I would say, a light that's in front of like, I'd almost say it's almost two lights that are at 45-degree angles. So basically, like, if we're the cameraman right now, one light would be wrapped around to his face right now, and another one wrapped around his back a bit. And I think that's how you're getting this hot spot on the back here, is this second light. But then you've got this light on our left-hand side that's lighting up his face. And what's interesting is that these lights are only on him. So this is where you get a really cool effect by this person in the background is completely silhouetted by the backlight, but our actual performer is basically evenly lit. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a bit of shadow here, but all in all, he, like, we could see his face, we could see the front of him, and we can see the back of him. So yeah, it's really interesting. It's classic 3-point lighting. Cool editing to the beat there, nice composition. Cool little transition effects. That's awesome, shooting through the glass table to get that shot. That's awesome. Little lens flares there. Awesome shot. This is great. I love shots like this. Again, you could get a boring shot of him in front of a car like a million other rap music videos or whatever, but instead they're getting this interesting, like, shooting into a mirror that is then getting him standing elsewhere. Like, it's, yeah, so cool. Bit of haze, lovely. Oh, actually, that's a good... So, watch the headlights of the car. There we go. You could see it's flickering. Now, this is unfortunately an issue you get with a lot of LEDs and, like, fluoro lights and stuff, especially ones that are just, like, you know, for day-to-day use and not made for film, is that you're gonna get a lot of flicker. Like, you might even notice, like, my sign in the background, it flickers. Like, if I put it on a completely different temperature, you'll see it gets even worse with the flickering. That's pretty bad right there. And the reason for that is just, I mean, I won't break it down science-wise, but it's essentially you've always got to play a bit with your shutter speed to try and match the lights in your area, which sucks and makes life difficult because your shutter speed is also determining a lot of other things in your footage. So sometimes you just have to go, well, I don't want to drop it down lower or put it up higher, so I just have to deal with the flickering. But yeah, it's honestly, it's what makes doing a lot of event work difficult, because I've done videos where I'm filming for a bar and they'll just have 50 lights that are all different hertz and stuff, and it's a nightmare. Like, nice little subtle zoom out. Another one. Love that snow shot. It's so cool. What are these green lasers they've got going? That's really interesting choice. Because those little lasers, they don't really add anything lighting wise, but it's a cool That like glare coming through the window is so sick. Nice Dutch tilt. Good camera movement. Another Dutch angle there. And I'm loving the editing, like the energy of the editing. They're throwing in some transitions and stuff like glitch effects and things, but they're also letting it breathe. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I really like the editing with that because, as I say, like, especially with rap music videos, there's sometimes music videos that just, they feel the need to put a transition on every single shot. And it just becomes overwhelming. You're seeing more of the transitions than of the actual footage. I like that they used it sparingly here and otherwise just had normal jump cuts that just let you actually breathe and see the beauty of the shots that they've gotten here. So yeah, that was really cool. I really liked that. All right, and moving on, we've got Tyla. She did it again. I need a... Is that... Yeah, that's interesting. I think there's glitter on her, but I'm just looking at... You could see there's like little particles of glitter in the air, which unless they like actually like threw it in the air, I'm sort of like, I feel like there's glitter on her, but then they've added like more glitter in post-production as sort of these particle effects. Otherwise, also, like, we've got some film grain on the top, we've got nice backlight in here at the end of this sort of cave, but also some front light, which is catching. Look at that eye light. Like, it's like there's glitter on her, or at least in like her hair or something, but then they've added like, yeah, a particle glitter. Yeah, like it's so it's almost black and white, but it's more leaning, it's sort of that middle ground between sepia and that doorway. Look at how bright it is. And again, we could tell where that light is coming from because it would actually be around the corner a bit, because we could see the ray of light on the ground and the shape of those shadows. So that tells us it's hidden a bit around the corner. And then to have this sort of effect where it's not obvious that it's coming from there and it sort of evenly lights up this space, that could either be diffusion that it's shooting through, or they've hazed it up so that you're getting this, yeah, like one big sort of evenly... great. Like, if this sort of music video or content is what you film, backlights are your friend, 100%. Because especially when you're getting into like dance routines and choreography and stuff, it really helps shape the body so that people can see exactly what moves they're doing. If they're too blended with the background and there's not that separation, it's hard to distinguish where like a foot starts and ends, or an arm extends or comes down, you know, like front light as well. That's not as harsh as that backlight. That backlight still, like the backlight's the hard light here for sure, but there is this softer front light coming back onto her, which honestly could also just be bounce. Actually, no, it couldn't be bounce because we just saw an eye light. So unless they had bounce and then just a tiny little LED for an highlight, as some of the last music videos, but that's okay. It's, I mean, like, they're showing two, like, models basically dancing. I don't think the people watching this music video want them to. Okay, that's also when you're shooting any sort of commercial that involves swimming pools or rivers or whatever, or it's modeling eccentric or whatever, like, one of the easiest shots you can get right is you backlight your talent and you have them get the wet hair and then they flick it back. It's that you throw that shit into slow motion. It's a guaranteed winner. Phobic of, like, it's like caves and a room, like, so, you know, the best way of putting it is all we would be seeing if, you know, you extended this to a normal 16:9, all that would be getting added is more cave walls or more walls of the room that they're in and stuff. So again, that can be something that determines your aspect ratio. It's just going, well, you know, we're already in this very tight space, so there's no point showing the sides of it anymore. Like, let's just bring people's attention down to this box. Yeah, really cool, really beautiful music video. That was great. And now our last but not least music video, we've got Siilawy Nassaba. Hopefully I said that correctly again. And I also love the fact that after talking about backlight so much, we immediately start with another backlight. Bit of haze as well. Fully silhouetted, which is really cool. Oh, bit of bounce, probably. Oh, ooh, head on. That camera roll, that was sick. Going from Dutch angle, rolling into another Dutch angle while tracking back. Whew. Nice editing, I saw that. See, again, backlights, they add so much shape. That's a cool effect. Cool, we've got some tube lights adding a bit of flavor. Really interesting. Damn. So much of this is just 1-point lighting and I love it. Cool transitions there. Yep. Just keeping the speed of the camera at the same, but, you know, splicing the shots together. It's such a good tool and easy to do because it's the same background in every shot. That effect is so cool. Yeah, it's like a motion blur effect. It's really cool. Nice, a little bit of color. And they've kept the color grade very muted. Like, they haven't lent into the like contrast and saturation a lot to like get those like vivid blues and stuff, but I like that. Very cool. Yeah, that was classic. I also love this little animation here with the eyeball. That's awesome. Very cool. But yeah, like that perfectly captures what I was talking about. Like, backlights add so much shape into your scenes. It still blows my mind that in all honesty, I see a lot more beautiful uses of lighting and interesting uses of lighting in music videos than most movies and TV shows. Like, I'm like, you know, show me more movies with this. Like, this is such a sick shot. I love it. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed these 6 music videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.